Ladies and gentlemen, this is Jason Jones, and I'm joined with a true legend of wrestling here, Mr. James J. Dillon, with a sit-down interview. Mr. Dillon, it's good to have you here with me. And how you been doing? How you been doing since the, I would say, retirement, almost, so to speak?
Oh, I don't know that, Jason, that when you've made it your life's work that you ever really retire. Being modest, if I can, I'd have to admit that I've done it all, and as you can see, I'm pretty elite company in that I have the WWE Hall of Fame ring, but I also have the ring from the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame that I received last year. So, pretty exclusive company to be a dual Hall of Famer. And when I sit in my penthouse, sometimes I look at the walls and I see the plaques and I see the pictures and I see all the awards that I've received, and it's gratifying, and with as much modesty as I can muster, well deserved. But it's like I stay in tune with what's going on in the wrestling world too, and I watch the news from all over the world. And there was one promotion recently that did catch my eye, and that was the Pro Wrestling Elite. And they call themselves the Diamonds of Professional Wrestling. And you don't have to be a genius to connect the dots on that. Where have you heard the phrase, diamonds are forever, so is Ric Flair, so are the Four Horsemen? So that caught my eye. And I probably have maybe done a little bit more investigating, been a little bit more in tune with what's happening, and I've been following the career of the Golden Boy Greg Anthony and Lover Boy Matt Riviera, current Lone Star Tag Champions. But what made the Horsemen so unique, what made them a step above everybody else, was that when we walked out on television, we didn't have one belt. We didn't have a few belts. We had all the belts. We were dripping with gold, and we monopolized the industry. So I thought, here's a chance for me to take someone with my credentials, step back into the industry, give someone who's well-deserving the benefit of my wealth of experience in the business and the rub of my success. And I would like to have the personal satisfaction, just kind of thinking out loud, of maybe seeing destiny repeated. The Diamonds of Professional Wrestling, I think with a name like that, it would be fitting of them to have not a title, a few of the titles, but Jason, all of the titles.
That's to say the least, and we're talking about the Horsemen having all the gold back in the day, and you were the manager with that Midas touch that had that gold.
I hate to correct you, but I have to. I was not the manager. I was the leader of the Four Horsemen.
I do apologize, sir.
That's quite all right.
The leader of the Horsemen, and you guys at one time had more gold than Fort Knox. I mean, to pardon the expression there, but to any true wrestling fan, we know what a stable and what an impact they did make. And some of the things I wanted to ask you about today on the sit down is maybe some rumors flying around out there, and maybe you can speculate or confirm or deny. Maybe some of your wisdom has been passed on, or if you have any insight to some of these rumors that I've saw on the web boards and the messages flying around on the internet. And if you don't care, I'd like to ask you a few of those.
I get the feeling that you're kind of beating around the bush. I mean, if you have something to ask me, just spit it out and ask me. I'm never been one to be very candid. I'm going to tell you how it is. And maybe in a way I've already let the cat out of the bag by saying that the Pro Wrestling Elite and the team that holds the belts that don't, by the way, hold at the moment the PWE tag team titles. And that's kind of something that just, there's something wrong about that picture.
True, they're being held currently by Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. And you're referring, of course, to the challengers, the Golden Boy Greg Anthony and Lover Boy Matt Riviera. Some of these questions I'd like to ask, in no way is disrespect meant on these questions. They were just some maybe I hope that you could lay to rest, or speculate on some of those rumors.
Well, the first thing I'm going to say is I'm not going to sit here and insult your intelligence or the intelligence of anybody watching by running down Ricky Morton, Robert Gibson, the Rock and Roll Express. Yes, I will go on record right here and now as saying they are one of the greatest tag teams of all time. Yes, but I'm also going to tell you something else, that you do not elevate yourself in this profession by beating nobodies. When you beat somebody, then you've accomplished something. So to take those titles that are currently held by the Rock and Roll Express, and I'm sure there's many a night where Ricky Morton has nightmares of the time that he challenged the then world heavyweight champion Ric Flair, and he was ambushed in the Greensboro Coliseum, and Ric Flair grabbed him by the back of his neck and used his face as a mop cleaning up the floor. And that's something, when you have an experience like that in life, you don't forget it. So I would think that as great as the Rock and Roll Express are, as great as Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson are, I would think to see me, and I don't have to be wearing my dual Hall of Fame rings, just my credentials of what I accomplished, has to be a bit of an intimidating factor, I would think.
I'm going to say a phrase right now, and I don't want you to answer. I just want to, kind of gauge a reaction.
You're beating around the bush again.
The Empire. The Empire, JJ. Mr. Dillon, I apologize. The Empire. Mm-hmm. All of these come back to the rumors flying rampant of the Empire. The Empire, the speculation there is that they might have had a hand in professional wrestling long before they did now. Going back to some of the other things that have happened, even back to the Horsemen and before the times of the Horsemen, that maybe the Empire was behind or speculated to be behind. And some of these questions, and they're no disrespect meant at all, sir. These are the things that the people that are going to be watching this want to know. For instance, we've brought to mind the Empire. Can you confirm or deny that you've been cited using a New York townhouse owned by Matt Riviera?
Hey, I have a lot of friends. A lot of friends that are thrilled to have me as a guest, whether it's for one night or for an extended stay. So I don't see the relevance of that.
Okay, I guess you've answered that. Okay. Can you confirm or deny that you were a guest aboard a yacht party named the Loverboy in Marina Del Rey as a guest of Greg Anthony and Matt Riviera?
I've been on a lot of yachts. I've owned a lot of yachts. I've hosted a lot of yacht parties. I like the water. I like to party. And I like to have a good time. And I like to be around people that I'm comfortable being around. And it just seems to me that you're taking a lot of circumstantial things and trying to tie them into a nice, neat little package that maybe makes you feel good. But I'm not going to sit here and I'm neither going to confirm or deny anything.
Okay, well, one of the biggest questions.
You're starting to perspire.
I know, sir. Am
I making you nervous?
How about another instance that's very familiar to a lot of pro wrestling fans out there? We're talking about the firing, so to speak, of Ole Anderson from the Four Horsemen. A lot of speculation has been made about the true reason why Ole left or was even kicked out, so to speak, and the possibility that maybe the Empire was even a part of that. Can you confirm or deny any of those rumors in regards to Ole Anderson leaving the Four Horsemen?
The only thing I will tell you is that successful people in this profession or in business in general sometimes are forced to make difficult decisions. And the Four Horsemen had reached a level of success unparalleled in the history of professional wrestling. Many people struggled to whether call us a stable, a faction, whatever we were incredibly successful. But it also required a commitment of individual effort on the part of everyone. And Ole Anderson at the time, who is one of the all-time greats, had a situation where his son was a senior in high school. He was wrestling as an amateur, and Ole made the personal decision to want to take time off to be with his son rather than be with a Horseman. And Tully Blanchard, who I have such great respect and admiration for, even to this day, called him on it. And Ole was offended that somebody would even ask him. But if you look at the big picture, if you look at the fact, again, that successful people sometimes need to make difficult decisions, it wasn't a hard decision to make. It was time for Ole to go. And for you to imply that somehow the Empire was involved even at that stage, you can speculate whatever you want, but if you think that I'm going to sit here again and validate, these things that are going through your mind, I'm not about to do that. None of your business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I agree. I agree. That's none of my business. If you want to plead the fifth, so to speak, on that, we'll.
I don't think I've pleaded the fifth. I think I've been very honest and straightforward with you. You ask me a question, and I give you the answer. And it's like you keep trying to. It's like if there's a pile of manure from a dog over in one corner, it doesn't smell so bad. If there's another pile over there, it doesn't smell quite so bad. But if you take it and you stick it all in one big pile in the middle of the room, it has a stench to it. And I have this feeling that you're trying to take a little pile of this and a little pile of that and create a load of stench and then try to stand here and put me on the spot. You're not going to do that. I'm so far ahead of you that it's unbelievable. And if the Empire wasn't involved, I wouldn't admit it to you anyway, because it's none of your business. And it's part, again, of what it takes to be successful, and that's to deal with successful people. And I've dealt with successful people all my life, and I will continue to. And the particulars of what I do and the decisions I make, quite frankly, are none of your business.
On that note, saying that you're never going to tell me whether or not the Empire was involved in any of those things, let me just ask you, point blank, can you confirm or deny that you are a member of the Empire?
I'm not going to give you an answer because you're not entitled to an answer because it's none of your business. I might even have to think twice if I answer what I had for breakfast to tell you, because that's none of your business too. And when you sit down for this interview and I look at your hands, which seem to be kind of naked in comparison to mine, and can flash some gold and a couple of Hall of Fame rings, then maybe I'll take your questions in a different context. And until such time, I'm going to tell you what I want to tell you, when I want to tell you, and when I tell you bluntly it's none of your business and I'm not going to answer, accept that, and don't keep turning around in circles and try to ask me the same questions over and over, because you're going to get the same answer. It's none of your damn business.